Family of Everett Jackson continues to mourn the loss of the 21-year-old. Crews found his body in the Payette River in Emmett on Sunday, 8 days after he went missing while floating the river.
It was a heartbreaking end to that search, not that we wanted to see, that's for sure. And the Gem County Sheriff's Office called it an accidental drowning, which brings river safety to the minds of so many of us right now. And Brenda joins us right now to tell us more about this and why it is so key to make sure you're safe when you get in the water.
Well, Maggie and Justin, there's a couple things that we need to think about when it comes to river safety. And one of the things that comes to mind right now is how to safely get in and out of the water. And our Shiro Matuzawa spoke with a rafting company to find out what we need to know to prevent a tragic outcome like this one.
From the glistening water to the serene outdoors, the Payette River can give off a sense of calm. But that calm can be deceptive. In an instant, that same river can turn into this: rushing water and the roar of the current. Which is why river experts like Kenneth Long, the general manager at Cascade Raft and Kayak, says it's important to know your limits and be prepared for what you're doing.
The thing with springtime Idaho is the flows are very variable, so the river can go up and down dramatically in very short order.
He says those were likely the conditions when Everett was floating the Payette River.
When that whole situation unfolded, unfortunately, that was part of the massive rising of the Payette River at that time.
Kenneth has been with Cascade Raft and Kayak for 25 years. He says wearing a life jacket is the #1 safety measure.
And the current is always moving, and it's very cold. So if you find yourself in the water, that current is going to keep pulling you and keep dragging you downstream. And that cold water, particularly right now, can really sap your strength very quickly and make it very difficult for you to get out if you don't have the proper equipment to keep you safe.
He adds some folks might be caught off guard right now since Idaho has been dealing with drought conditions and recently received unexpected amounts of wet weather.
And then all of a sudden we've got higher water than we've seen in 4 or 5 years, and quite unexpectedly, to be honest. If you're going on a tubing stretch, make sure that you know the put-ins and you know the takeouts and you know what to expect, what the rapids are and what the water is in between there. If you're going up and you're doing some whitewater, you need to know your skill, you need to know the people that you're going with so that you can all participate in getting safely down the river.
And if you do find yourself in the water, Kenneth says most people try to stand. But if you do that, you could smash your knees, ankles, or get your foot trapped. Instead, he says, lay flat on your back.
Getting your feet up on top of the water is very important. When you're dealing with any sort of higher water and the river's up into the bushes and the trees, you need to know that you need to stay away and swim away from the trees or any of the bushes. The water will go through those trees and bushes, but boats, people, and things like that will get hung up and stuck. They're called strainers.
He says you need to avoid those. And keep in mind, right now the water is cold, so make sure to properly dress in wetsuits because having the right gear is important.
And Kenneth says that he hears about some kind of tragedy happening in the river once or twice a summer because of how unpredictable the river can be. And well, as for Everett, the Gem County coroner tells us that his body is with the coroner's office right now, but soon he's going to be sent to Louisiana with his family.
And that's where his family wants him back home. It's just been such a tragedy to see this whole thing unfold, to see them fly in to help with the search. And we want to thank all the volunteers out there in our community who showed up to search for Everett as well.
Thank you, Brenda, so much.